Question is, what's the best Scrum advice I've ever received? And I think it's the same advice we actually see all the time, although on social media, although in varying degrees of upsettedness with Scrum and frameworks and stuff. You'll see there's a lot of movements out there to move away from a dogma that I feel like didn't really exist except in crappy people anyway, right? This dogma that you're not doing Scrum unless you're standing up, or you're not doing Scrum unless you're doing user stories, or if you don't do exactly 15 minutes for your daily Scrum and it must be in person, then you're not doing Scrum. All of that stuff, I think, has always been bullshit. It's not really Scrum, it's not really Agile, it's not really in keeping with that story. And people kind of latch on to that idea of in the footnotes of Scrum, of the Scrum guide, it does say that Scrum as defined in here is immutable, and implementing part of it is fine, right? But it's not Scrum if you only implement part of it. And people latch onto that. So I think the main advice is not to be dogmatic, to be pragmatic. And I feel like you need to be dogmatic in education, right? Because you're telling somebody how something works, right? This thing is defined this way. Here is how it works. Does it matter that they use it differently when they actually go and use it in their company? No. Are they getting value? Yes. Then we're cool, right? Are they doing all of it? No. Are they still getting value? Yes. Then it's great. You don't need to be following every little thing to make that successful. And it's actually something that I think the Scrum Guide struggles with, because people complain when it tells you it's too structured and too detailed, and then they complain when it doesn't tell you how to solve your problems, right? Oh, the Scrum Guide's not enough. Of course it's not enough. Nothing's enough. You need to come up with the strategies. And that, I think, is that core piece of advice that I see, consistent advice that I see from almost everybody who knows what they're talking about on the internet. And whether it's Scrum, Agile, Lean, CAP, doesn't matter what it is. Their advice is almost always the same. The actual framework, the actual tools that you use are just tools. They don't matter. People and interactions over processes and tools. Processes and tools are valuable. Use them when they're effective for you. Adapt them when they're not. Ditch them when they're bad, right? That's it. That's the only advice you need to be more agile. But I would also caveat that. I'm going to caveat that because how do you know something doesn't work for you if you haven't done it, right? There's also that idea that sometimes, especially when we're learning, right? And that could be learning I'm in a classroom, or learning I'm trying to figure out how this thing works, is perhaps you want to do it the way it says on the box and then go, I tried it this and this stuff doesn't work. We need to adapt this. We need to adapt that. Just like a recipe. And that's what I try and, the way I try and phrase it. You know, a recipe book is not there for you to just follow verbatim, because you will find that after you've made the recipe verbatim once, right, you follow the instructions, you'll find it's not quite to your taste. Maybe you like a little bit more salt, or you like a little bit more paprika, or you like to put something else in it that is yours. So you take that recipe and you adapt it and make it yours and create your own recipe for what it is that you're doing. And that is the power of Agile. That's the power of flexibility, of adaptive, iterative, incremental and empirical processes, right? Use what works, ditch what doesn't, look at the data, see what's going on. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please like, follow and subscribe. I always reply to comments, and if you want to have a chat about this or anything else Agile, Scrum or DevOps, then please book a coffee with me through NKDAgility.